Hello everyone, I'm back for another update. Today is September 25th, 2024. I'm taking a walk locally. Before the rain starts falling. I do have an umbrella with me just in case. So what I'm going to talk about today is an update on this latest, what the National Weather Service is calling a hurricane. My question is it really a hurricane, or are we being fed more lies by this agency? I realize it does look impressive, the cloud bands, the rain bands. I've been following this system closely for the last few days as it came up out of the southwestern Caribbean. And the interesting thing is it did not develop into a hurricane anytime it was in the southwest Caribbean. But now all of a sudden the National Weather Service has declared it's a hurricane. Yeah, rain bands, circular, developed around the center in the last 24 hours. And National Weather Service claiming it's a hurricane. Big question is it? And is this rapid intensification everybody's talking about going to actually happen? Because it has not happened just yet. In spite of what everybody's saying. Reason why I say that, I've been looking at the reports nearby in Cancun, Mexico. It's not very far from the center of circulation. The highest wind all day I saw there was 20 knots, 21 knots I think, out of the west-northwest a few hours ago. The winds there have not been increasing. If the storm was taking off in intensity, the winds there would be at least gale force. And I've seen no evidence of that in the reports. The system does not have a well-defined eye at this point. And my guess is it's at most a weak tropical storm at the moment. Again, it's hard to say. I don't know everything there is to know about hurricanes, but from what I've seen from experience, and I do admit Beryl was, for example, Cat 4, at least from the images I saw. This is nothing in comparison right now. Helene, the big question is this rapid intensification actually going to happen in the next 24 hours that everybody's talking about? I'm saying it's probably not going to happen. Reason why I say that is because, again, the Gulf is tapped out. You got to have heat for rapid intensification. If the system gets stronger, it's going to be because they got the motor going, because the system up till now has pretty much been on life support. And is there enough heat in the eastern Gulf of Mexico that they could get this thing going from the recent solar flares especially? Because the eastern Gulf has not seen that much storm activity lately. There may be just enough heat in there to generate a 1 or a 2. I don't think it's going to be a Cat 5 or anything. I still don't. And it may just turn out like Francine did. It's hard to say exactly what's going to happen until the system actually gets a little further out into the Gulf. And is there enough heat in that water for the storm to actually intensify? Is the big question now. We did have that solar flare a week and a half ago. That could have put a little bit of additional heat. The cosmic ray count from cycle 25 still continues around -7. And that was my concern a couple of weeks ago, was why the hurricane season wasn't completely over yet, was the sun. I'm going to get this umbrella up because it is starting to rain. This here is Potts Creek, and the water has come up recent days because of all the rain we've gotten. It was a lot lower than this just a week ago. But getting back to the discussion, they even got tropical storm watches all the way up into western North Carolina right now. I don't anticipate it's going to be a Cat 5. Maybe at most a 2, depending on if there's enough heat in the eastern Gulf from this last solar flare we had that they might be just enough heat locally in that region that the storm might take off a little bit in intensity. That's still a question mark right now. From my estimation, I know the National Weather Service is calling it a hurricane, and most people out there do not know the difference between a true hurricane and a thunderstorm that's severe. People around here saying there's a hurricane coming. Oh, are you ready for it? And it's not going to be a hurricane here. It's going to be probably maybe some rain and a little bit of wind. Maybe the mountaintops might get a few gusts, is my estimation. It's not going to be a hurricane here. Yet, that's what people around here are being told. There's a hurricane coming. So we'll have to see what happens with this. It is a manufactured system. I've been talking about for days now that they are desperate to try to get some more storms online here. With this below average season we've had. Now, I did say, because of the sun doing what it's been doing the last several weeks, that we may get another storm or two out of this season. I said that very clearly, that it's not going to be a record season, or the activity's not going to go gangbusters either. I said there might be at most a couple more systems. I said that a few weeks ago, when the cosmic ray count suddenly dropped. And part of the explanation for that drop, I think, is when you're nearing the equinox. Did some research. The sun's and the Earth's magnetic fields kind of link up together more closely because of being on the equinox, meaning that solar activity will have more of an impact on the Earth's magnetic field than at other times of the year, meaning that could knock the cosmic ray count down lower just from being in that position. So we have to see if in the next few weeks it goes back up to where it was. Sunspot number is down just over 100 when I last checked, and again the trend continues of mainly being in the southern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere has almost no activity. So what is this Helene going to do? My guess is, and this is not according to what the National Weather Service is saying, it's going to be a strong tropical storm, maybe a Cat 1 on landfall, depending on, again, how effective they are at enhancing the convection and how much warm water there is to work with in the areas the storm's going to be moving over the next day or two. Will depend on what happens with it. So far, up till the last few hours, they've not been very successful at enhancing. They have been enhancing the convection, but in the southwestern Caribbean, western Caribbean, this storm has gotten nowhere. Did not develop. I've seen many times in the past when hurricanes have developed in the Caribbean and moved across that opening into the Gulf. This is not that situation. At the moment, this storm is not even really a hurricane. I don't think it is from looking at the images. Of course, and from the reports I've seen coming out of Cancun, which is only a few miles from the center of circulation, again, the highest wind speed all day there was 20 knots, 21 knots. To me, I'm not impressed. If it was really a hurricane, they would be getting a lot stronger winds than that. I checked at a lot of other places. I could not find any place that even had tropical storm force winds. Of course, the center is out over the water. But as close as Cancun was to the center, I would think they should have at least seen tropical storm force winds, and I have not seen any evidence of that. So to me, I think the storm, at least right now, is being way overhyped. At least at the moment. And this brings me up to, I have not said much about political other side of the Donald Trump has an Agenda 2025 in place that he's wanting to implement if he gets in office. Now, as part of that 2025 project, he's planning on revamping the National Weather Service. As far as I'm concerned, if the National Weather Service is not telling us the entire truth and not giving us the facts about things, I'm in agreement with that move. Because if they're not really doing their job and presenting actual facts and trying to promote an agenda, yeah, they should be disbanded. I'm in total agreement with that. If we're not being told the facts about climate, if actual research has not been done, actual scientific research, that everybody's been brainwashed into thinking carbon dioxide is automatically going to warm our planet, when perhaps maybe it has a negligible effect. Research needs to be done. I mean, there is evidence that carbon dioxide actually follows the temperatures, not causes the temperatures. Meaning if the temperatures go up, carbon dioxide goes up after temperature rise. Temperatures fall, carbon dioxide comes down after the fall begins. So there's lots of contrary evidence out there. Again, it's really hard to say, but that's the one positive thing about, as far as I'm concerned, about Project 2025 is that maybe, just maybe, Trump will put some people in there that are going to do some actual unbiased research on climate. I mean, that would be a miracle if that happened, because right now, obviously, most of the money is going to global warming research. There's not much unbiased research going on about climate anymore. Looks like the rain has let up. So that's going to be it for this video. I will be back soon with another update on this storm.